somebody to give back to the community, and I've always um, researched options or found ways where I can do this and still pursue my passion and love for the outdoors.
Welcome all. Our today's guest has led a very successful corporate career and is now climbing mountains for a cause. Welcoming Krithika Raman. Lovely to have you on the show, Krithika.
Thank you, Avani. Happy to be on the show, and thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you for coming, Krithika. Krithika, corporate career and mountaineering, two completely different fields. What urged you to go from the corporate career to climbing mountains?
It is just a hobby that started with, small hikes, and then I take it up to the next level. All this whilst I was juggling a corporate job, which is difficult. But I made the time because of the passion. And I also wanted to combine my love for the outdoors with giving back or making an impact. So long story short, Kilimanjaro in Africa was my first big climb. And I wanted to give back as a thank you to the porters and their families. And I was looking for ways to do it, even if it means, starting my own NGO and funding the children, especially the girl child. And luckily, I put the word out there, and I got connected to this gentleman who already was planning to do the same thing. And so I just piggybacked and said, I'm going to support you and, take it forward. So it's a small organization called Climb for a Child. And I've sponsored 2 little girls. They're not little anymore. This was years ago, but they've thrived and done beautifully. And so I combined bigger projects, mountaineering projects, be it that, or recently I pivoted to running marathons. So all these bigger, harder events for me personally, I always do it for a charity, because if you're torturing or killing yourself, it might as well benefit somebody in the process. So that has been my journey. Very interesting, but definitely did not think I would be climbing mountains or running marathons at 50 plus, but here we are.
You said that it's for the girls. Are you helping them with their education? Which other ways do you provide help?
Yes, primarily education, because of what I saw there and the lifestyle for a girl child. And they don't have the means or the opportunity, but if provided, and some of them are really bright, and the children are bright, and when they're given a chance, they step it up, and you change, especially a girl child, you change the life for one girl child in that family, and the future generations are going to be better because of it. In terms of like both learning and progress, everything, because I was adamant about supporting girl children for that reason. And education, of course, goes a long way. And, Climb for a Child, the organization has supported, it's a small organization, many children, one at a time. And they're doing great, they're thriving, and things are changing for their families. And when you see that, there are other people who are motivated to do the same. So that was my, primary cause. And of course, with other opportunities, I also try to support cancer research and anything associated with that, because it's personal for me. Yes, so that is the main reason.
That's wonderful, Krithika. What's next? What is something next that you're looking out to do in future?
I think at this point, I feel like the next step would be to give my time instead of just writing a check or doing these things to support financially. I think it worked well with the responsibilities that I have. Like they say, charity begins at home. So I have a responsibility towards my children and family first. And I've come to a point where I think that is all taken care of to a larger extent. And I can start focusing on actually physically being present there to give my time to the children. And those are the kind of opportunities that I'm interested in looking forward to in the near future.
The last time that we spoke, there was a life-changing event that happened in your life. How has that impacted you as a person?
Yes. So in 2014, I got diagnosed with breast cancer. Came out of nowhere. And after I got over the shock, thankfully, didn't sit around asking why for too long. I just proceeded with next steps, the best options I had. And thankfully, I had some good options because of the access to some of the best hospitals and the medical team here. And yeah, so this kind of changed, as expected, my perspective about life and how I would handle it and prioritize it given the second innings or the second chance. And I already was active outdoors, pursuing a lot of hobbies that I wanted to take up to the next level. And I just amped it a little bit more after this. And so I always wanted to combine my love for the outdoors to give back, to benefit somebody, to give back to the community. And I've always researched options or found ways where I can do this and still pursue my passion and love for the outdoors. So I was into hiking and biking, other activities like before my diagnosis. But after this, I just took it up a notch and started delving in a little bit into mountaineering. And that was very interesting. And then recently I pivoted to running marathons. And when I do like bigger projects or bigger climbs, I always like do it for charity. And I've supported a few that I've researched over the time. And yeah, so that has changed my meaning for life. And I've reprioritized everything since. I had a successful corporate career for 12 years. And recently, I just wanted to take a break so that I can, pursue my passion a bit more or figure out full-time ways to give back. Because it's always been like a corporate career, juggling home, career, and then finding time to pursue passion and give back, which took a lot of my energy and time. So I just want to take a break at this point and do things that I had on my list for myself.
That's lovely, Krithika. How were you as a child? Because you need that the innate power that you have within you to kind of overcome these challenges that life throws at us. How were you as a child?
I think looking back now, Avni, I feel like of course, I was born in India and I, spent most of my time in Mysore growing up there and didn't have access to all these outdoors activities or the financial means for that matter to pursue that. But always like sports day was fun in school. And I always brought home some prizes from track and field events. So looking back, connecting the dots, I feel like I've had that passion in me, and I got a chance to amp it up here when I came back. But as far as strength and endurance, I think I've always like enjoyed setting goals, working towards them to see what it leads to, where it leads to, and challenging myself both physically and mentally. Of course, it gets tougher with age. I will not deny it, but I try. I try.
Is there something special that you do to make yourself more focused?
Good question. I think it came naturally to me, and I only say that now because I've been mentoring a lot of people who got diagnosed since. And I've always thought that when you're near death's door or a life-changing event like this happens, people naturally step it up and do what is needed, be it pulling in inner strength, courage, keeping the attitude positive, all of those things. But I do find out that like people handle it very differently. And that's when I realized that I was probably innately born with a little bit of those qualities that helped me, plus the support system from my husband, my friends, like a few close friends and family, to take it up to the next notch and deal with that in a very positive way. But I can tell you this, like, doesn't matter what it is, like the person who is going through that journey has to come up with something to keep them going or work at it, when it happens. And it's not an easy thing to do. For me, I don't want to discount how tough the journey was, but I feel like because of the attitude, I handled it better. I focused more on time for myself, pursuing spiritual seekings, be it books or meditation. And I was doing that quite a bit to overcome, any negativity. And also it's important not to push any fear under the rug because it always comes back to haunt you. Doesn't matter like what kind of mechanism you have, it still comes back to haunt you. And I think the work in progress was accepting that after all of this, there could still be a chance that I may not make it. And making peace with that situation, accepting it, and then changing my attitude after that, saying that every day you wake up, be grateful for what you have, it's a blessing, and take it one day at a time, which I think should be the mantra even otherwise, that all of us with the fast-paced life forget. But yeah, sometimes these are reminders to keep those things in the forefront.
That's lovely, Krithika. What would be your message for all the mothers?
I think my message to everybody is look at like life-changing events or some hardships that come your way as a temporary hurdle, and say to yourself, this too shall pass, and develop a habit of self-dependency and get your coping mechanisms together before these events happen in life, where you are stronger and you handle this with positive attitude and a lot of courage, figuring out your own path all along the way, because everything else is transient and you have to go through the journey on your own end of the day.
True.
So I think my message to be it moms or anybody else who's going through this, it'll pass if it's meant to, and just hang in there and work on all the other things, focusing on yourself, loving yourself, spending time on the right things to give you all of these skills to handle this in a positive way.
That's wonderful, Krithika. Thank you so much for doing what you're doing for the community, for these children. Thank you for sharing your journey with us. Thank you.
Most welcome, and thank you so much again for the opportunity.